Hey guys, what's up? My name is Caitlin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you're here. Today we're going to be talking about limiting beliefs because some have popped up in my life. I've been working through them and now I want to share and just talk about limiting beliefs with all of you. So what the heck is a limiting belief and where does it even come from? So a limiting belief is a belief that you created, that we all created, between ages 0 and 7 about ourselves and about the world. Okay, editing Caitlin here. I just want to clarify that not all limiting beliefs are created between ages 0 and 7. That's just the majority of them, but you can create limiting beliefs as an adult because things happen. Even as adults, we make meaning out of things. So just want to clarify that not every single limiting belief comes from your childhood. It can usually be linked back to your childhood, but that isn't always the case. Because between ages 0 and 7, you're just a little sponge absorbing up all these beliefs. And when something happens, you're trying to make meaning of it. It's like, oh, this person is angry, therefore I did something bad. You know, we make meaning out of things that happen or things that are going on. And we make up these stories and we believe that they're facts because we're a child. And we don't have the life experience to know that, oh, they're angry because they're just angry. It's nothing to do with me. So limiting beliefs are actually stored in your subconscious mind, and it's basically just background programming. So if you live most of your life on autopilot, your subconscious beliefs, the limiting beliefs you created as a child, are going to be driving the bus of your life, and you don't always know that they're there. Limiting beliefs, as you're trying to grow and as you're trying to do new things and grow a business or fall in love or whatever it is you're trying to do, if you're struggling to do that, there might be beliefs at play telling you these stories about why what you want you can't have. And so that's why it's really important to work on your limiting beliefs and work on letting them go. Because we're no longer 7 years old. You know, it's like, oh, I'm an adult, I'm in charge of my life. But if you don't question your beliefs, your inner child is in charge of your life. And then you're not going to be living the life of your dreams because you're going to be holding yourself back in so many ways. So how do you even know if a belief is a limiting belief? So if you have a belief pop up, an example is, I'm so stupid. And if I really question, if you question this belief, is it true that I'm so stupid? And if you really examine these beliefs and question them, like, is this true? It's like, no, I'm not stupid. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I got a D- on a test, but those things don't mean anything about me. They don't mean that I'm stupid. It's like when something happens and then we decide it means something about us. That's when it's a limiting belief because it's not the ultimate truth. And one more example of a limiting belief is like, oh my gosh, I got fired from this job, therefore I will never have another good paying job. That's not true. Most of the time we just don't question our beliefs, but when you actually look at them and question them, sometimes they can be laughable, like, oh my gosh, like, of course that's not true. From there, you can like tap on it or you can journal it out, be like, oh, I got this belief, at age 6, and here's what I made it mean about me, and that's not even true, and I'm ready to let that go. Like, you can do tapping, you can do journaling, there's all kinds of things you can do to just shift your mindset and work on letting those old stories, those old limiting beliefs go. So some non-limiting beliefs, I guess just regular good beliefs, are just beliefs that feel good. So if you put your hands on your heart and you say, I'm loved, like, it's going to feel really good. And me being loved, you being loved, like, we're all absolutely loved because we're alive and we're here because the universe wants us to be here. Like, my heart beating is love. So it's like, oh, that's true. And then if you put your hands on your heart again, and then it's like, I'm worthy. Oh, hell yeah. Like, that feels so good and so, like, empowering. And it's like, okay, I know that that's true. And you might have parts of you that are like, ooh, we're not really that worthy. And those are just unhealed parts of yourself that you can work on. And your deep inner knowing knows that you're loved, knows that you're worthy, knows that you're here on purpose. So it's like anything that says otherwise is a lie and or a limiting belief or just a story that you're telling that you don't have to keep replaying and retelling. how do you go about uncovering what your limiting beliefs even are? So if you have a goal, so for example, me, I have a goal of I want to make money with my business. I want my business to support me. Right now I have a full-time job and I want my business to replace my full-time job income. And I've had a lot of resistance to that. So that's a clue. If there's resistance, there might be some beliefs telling me that I can't have what I want, which would be a thriving business. So when you figure out what your goal is, then think of all the reasons and all the things that tell you that you can't have it. So for me, it's like, oh, well, I'm unworthy and I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, you know, I've never had a business before and I failed in network marketing, failed in all these things, right? So if you go through and question these beliefs, like, am I unworthy? Absolutely not. Am I not good enough? Absolutely not. Am I stupid? Absolutely not. You know, oh, just because I failed at something else, does that mean I'm gonna fail at this? Absolutely not. Like, and here's why. Or I'm worthy because I am. I'm good enough because I am. Just because I failed at that thing that wasn't right for me doesn't mean that I can't succeed with this. So we question our beliefs and just be like, hey, lie, 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 lie. Here is the truth. And then if you write down what gets to be true for you now, it's like, bro, I get to have a thriving business. I get to monetize my YouTube channel. Like, these things are inevitable and they are going to happen. Like, it is mine, it is done, and so it is. Like, if you clear all the limiting beliefs, not even necessarily fully clear them, but if you just look at them, they often lose their power. And then from there, you can be like, okay, well, I'm going to believe that I get to have what I want. And you really have to just get your energy behind it, where you whole body, whole knowing, like, this thing is mine. It's when you're like, oh, I want this thing, but I also don't want this thing for these reasons, that it's like, you're not 100% all in your goal energetically. So you still have resistance and stuff that you can work on clearing, so that way your goal, you can get closer and closer to your goal, because you're not going to have all the resistance, because the more you clear it, the closer you can get to your goal. You can still reach your goals even if you do have limiting beliefs, but it's going to be harder. It's going to be a lot harder to push through all of your lies that you've been telling yourself for so long that you actually think are true that don't have to be true. You're just going to be pushing a rock up a hill. If you're trying to reach your goal and carrying all these beliefs that tell you you can't have it, you're not good enough. That's why it is a good idea to work on your limiting beliefs. So I have been seeing my therapist since 2019, but this year Dylan was like, hey, if she really helps you, you should probably see her more often, because I was like, oh, I'll see her whenever I need her. And it's like, oh, whenever I need her, it's meltdown status. So seeing her monthly now, I usually pick out my limiting beliefs that I want to work on each time I see her. And it's usually whatever is popping up for me that day, really. Or I might think of it a day or two in advance of like, okay, when I see her, I want to work on this thing. So I saw her last weekend, and it was like, okay, well, I have a lot of resistance to, having a thriving business. And before our session, I wrote down like why I can't have it, right? And what popped up was I'm worthless. So my therapist does internal family systems, IFS, I think that's what it's called. So it's like, oh, part of me wants a thriving business and part of me is terrified and has resistance and isn't going to let me have it. So therefore, I'm going to hibernate and not talk on social media because this part is winning. So we worked on it where it was like, okay, the part that, thinks you're worthless, because like that's why I couldn't have a thriving business. The part that thinks I'm worthless, how old are they? So it's like, okay, my 7-year-old self decided that she was worthless. Okay, well, how old does this part think that you are now? And it's like, oh, well, this part thinks I'm 14. And it was like, oh, okay, well, what happened when you were 14? And we spent a whole hour diving into this horrific event. We didn't even get to how that event was connected to why I can't have a thriving business. And it wasn't until the next day where every morning I do morning pages, so I write 3 pages in my notebook. Well, that morning I wrote 6 pages. And I was just like crying, because I was writing out everything that was connected to this event and everything that was connected to my business and all this stuff that was just spilled onto 6 pages of notebook. What the limiting belief that popped up is that if I'm successful, someone will come and take all of it away. So therefore, if I never have success, I will never have that loss of having it taken away. And that's a very big limiting belief. And I cried about it all day that day too. Because it's like, oh, I connected the dots and that limiting belief needs to go. Because you can't, by preventing loss, I'm preventing joy and happiness and all this stuff for a potential loss that hasn't even happened yet. It's like, oh, not being successful is so much safer than risking success and losing it all. So this fear of loss and this belief that my success will be taken from me, I will be robbed, that was a limiting belief that was really holding me back. And so anyways, I decided I was just gonna start tapping on it, because the following day I saw my therapist on Friday, and then I journaled and cried on Saturday, and then Sunday I was journaling in the morning again, and it was like, oh, I need to tap on this. Like, bro, tapping is my go-to, but it was like I was resisting tapping, or actually I hadn't even really thought of it. But then it just popped in my mind. I'm like, I know Brad Yates has a video on it, and I know it. And bro, he has videos on everything. If you got an issue, look up Brad Yates and your issue, and you'll find a video by him. So, did his video tapping for fear of loss, and I've been a mean tapping machine every single day since then. That is my go-to. It's like, I'm gonna journal and I'm gonna tap. I'm gonna journal and I'm gonna tap. And that's how I've been working on my limiting beliefs. And healing in general is kind of like an onion. You peel some layers, because it's like, you heal one thing and then it's like, I'm good to go. And then you're like, oh crap, there's another thing. Or you heal something and it's like, oh look, like the OxyClean, but wait, there's more. Or whatever commercial that's from, there's usually more. And here's the thing also about healing, is that it might not ever actually fully end, but you're going to get better and you're going to get stronger, and your recovery time when issues, beliefs pop up, you're going to like get better and recover so much quicker, where it's like, oh, this belief, okay, let it go, got it, moving on. But when you're kind of new to looking at your beliefs and healing, and or you have a lot of healing to do, it feels kind of hard. You know, if you were just magically healed right this second, then what? Life might be a little bit boring because you're not really like working on yourself. Without growth and without challenges, life would definitely be really boring. So anyways, that is my spiel on limiting beliefs. I hope that helps you. I hope that you can pick, whatever your goals are. You can write down what tells you that you can't have it, question them, and choose new, better beliefs that get to be true for you, because you get to have what you want. The universe, God, whatever, gave you your desires. Like, they're a gift. And you wouldn't have been gifted your desires if they weren't made for you and if you couldn't do them. If you had to choose between your desires and, a roof over your head. Like, no, you get to have all of it. Like, you get to have your desires and everything else that you want too. Like, you get to be supported. Like, the universe isn't out here punishing you, torturing you, saying, oh, decide between your desires and whatever else. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I'm so proud of you for being on this journey, for watching a video on limiting beliefs, and I hope you learned something and that it was helpful. And I'm just so grateful for you. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that thumbs up button as well. So thanks for doing that. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!